Namaskar, Adab, Sat Sri Akal, hello. This is a deep talk which an Indian is giving to a common Pakistani. The theme of my talk is Watershed Moment between India and Pakistan in the year 1999. My name is Rishi Amar Sharma and I am an Indian living in the city of New Delhi. I work in Google as an architect and I have more than 24 years of experience in the industry. I have traveled all over the world, got an opportunity to work in countries like America, Europe, Australia, South Africa, and as a part of my job travel, I have met many Pakistanis who are living out of their country in America, in Europe, in Australia. My late father was born in Pakistan in the city of Jhang Maghiana. My father spent his childhood in cities such as Lahore and Quetta. My father was just 13 years of age when the partition between India and Pakistan took place in 1947. Both India and Pakistan conducted nuclear tests in the year 1998. There was a lot of backlash by the international community, especially America, which said that sanctions would be applied to both the countries for conducting these nuclear tests. As a confidence building measure, the honorable and respectable prime ministers of both the countries, Pakistan Mr. Nawaaz Sharif and India Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee met at the SAARC summit in Colombo and decided to do something positive. Respectable Prime Minister of Pakistan Mr. Nawaaz Sharif invited the respectable Prime Minister of India Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee to visit Pakistan. The invitation was accepted by Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee and the Lahore bus journey took place in February 1999. Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee took an entire delegation on the bus to Lahore. There was a lot of backlash in our country since the nuclear tests had happened and there was a tension between both the countries, and then this step coming up, there were bound to be reactions. I want to emphasize that what the common Indian thought about this step, the acceptance of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee's of going to Pakistan on the request of Mr. Nawaaz Sharif. I had just come out of my engineering college and I was again residing in New Delhi. I was 21 years of age. There were 4 voices which I heard on this step where Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee accepted to go to Pakistan. The first voice was of my late father. Since my father had seen the barbarism of 1947 partition, where he was just 13 years of age. He came from Pakistan to India. My father was a positive person. He was happy. He supported this decision. I still remember my father talking with his friends, with his neighbors about that this is a positive step. The second voice was of my own. A young blood, 21 years of age, I was a bit skeptical. I thought that this decision has been taken by Mr. Vajpayee in haste. The third voice was of those common Indians who again supported this cause. They supported this cause. They thought, okay, now there's some betterment would come out of this visit. I used to visit various parks in New Delhi. I was in the habit of fitness, so I used to go to various parks in New Delhi, and there I used to interact with all kinds of common Indians, uncles, aunties, the same age group people. And what I heard from them there was, again, one voice was people were positive about this step. There was another voice which was, this should not have been done. Yes, this should not have been done. But if I would say, it was both 50-50. People were supportive of Mr. Vajpayee's decision and 50% people were not supportive. There were very few who were neutral, who did not want to comment. Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited Pakistan. That is the symbolic representation, icon of Pakistan's creation. And this is what he wrote over there in the diary, recognizing Pakistan as a country. I'll repeat again. Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited Pakistan, which represents, it's a symbol of creation of Pakistan. And Mr. Vajpayee penned down his thoughts in a diary over there, recognizing Pakistan. While he visited Pakistan, he got a lot of applaud from the international community. Similarly, respectable Mr. Nawaaz Sharif also got applaud because this was an act towards peace. Though there were resentments in both the countries, in India, even from the opposition parties, many people supported Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. As an example, the late Honorable President of India, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, supported Vajpayee's cause. While this act happened, when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee visited Pakistan, the opposition forces whom I used to meet on a regular basis in the park, right, as now common Indians, who opposed his move, became neutral. I could hear from them that, all right, something might turn out good. So this act of our late honorable, respectable Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee visiting Pakistan, recognizing Pakistan as a country was a very big step. By visiting Pakistan, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee had created the Watershed Moment between India and Pakistan. A big change, a big development was about to happen. But then the unfortunate thing happened. Doom. And that was Kargil. When Kargil happened, everything turned upside down. The watershed moment just went away. People in India were very angry. I was angry. Common Indian was very angry. My late father, who was a man of peace, who was a positive person, he was dejected. What has happened? When such a big step is taken by both the countries, it is not easy for a politician who has made himself, who has built the reputation in so many years, to make such an act. Whether it is Mr. Nawaaz Sharif or whether it is Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. That was an act of courage. But that all went down when Kargil happened. The trust was completely lost in the hearts of common people, Pakistan's trust. Those voices who supported this cause of Mr. Vajpayee visiting Pakistan, I saw those voices. They also got dejected and they also lost trust. Unfortunately, many of Indian soldiers died, Pakistan soldiers died. But then there was a big trust deficit. When history is being made, it takes decades to build a watershed moment like 1999, where India's sitting Prime Minister accepts the request of Pakistan's Prime Minister after the nuclear tests have happened, and he goes on the bus taking with him eminent personalities just for the intent of bringing peace between two countries. When such an act is happening, why did Kargil happen? Indians still today, they have a trust deficit because they blame not only Pakistan, they also blame Mr. Nawaaz Sharif as the Prime Minister. Because if a Prime Minister has requested the Indian Prime Minister to come and visit Pakistan, and the Indian Prime Minister has visited Pakistan, the symbolic creation of Pakistan, acknowledged it, penned down a note acknowledging Pakistan as a country, and a lot of international applaud is taking place, that good is happening. Suddenly Kargil happens. So the hearts of of the common Indian, right? The common Indian were broken. And till date, I'll be very honest with you, till date, there is a huge trust deficit. I have heard many times in some of the, Pakistan TV programs that India has never shown as a big brother, right? Because in this region, India is big. What more will India do to show that India as a country is always intent is to move towards peace? And in 1999, under the leadership of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, India acted as a big brother by going to Pakistan, acknowledging Pakistan as a country by visiting Minar-e-Pakistan. Everything is factual, what I am saying. What more should India act as a big brother? I think nothing more can be there by this act which was performed by India in the leadership of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee. The watershed moment where change would have happened, the course of time between both the countries would have taken place. There would have been new developments. But now, unfortunately, there is a trust deficit. So my request to my dear Pakistani friends is that first, whenever anyone says that India has not acted as a big brother, India has acted many times as a big brother, and this was the largest act India can do to move towards peace. And number two, which is very important, such moments in history come in decades. They don't come very fast. Where a sitting Indian Prime Minister visits Pakistan on a bus, goes to Minar-e-Pakistan, acknowledges Pakistan as a country, pen down the note in the diary, stamping the acknowledgement. This is a watershed moment. Next time, whenever, we don't know. There is a lot of trust deficit. We don't know when this will happen. But next time when such a watershed moment comes, Pakistan should not lose that moment. Ultimate beneficiary would have been Pakistan. More. India acted as a big brother in 1999. I hope and pray such a watershed moment again repeats in history, but now the onus is on Pakistan to preserve that moment.